Have you ever wondered why a woman can say one thing, do another, and still feel absolutely convinced that she is being completely clear, while you are standing there thinking, what does she actually want from me? If you have ever felt that women are reading a secret rulebook that no one gave you, stay with me, because right now you are going to hear 7 psychological facts about women that almost no man knows, and once you understand them, you will stop feeling confused, powerless, or needy, and start moving like a calm, centered man who actually understands the game he is playing. As you listen, notice something. No one ever sat you down to explain how female psychology really works. You were told to be nice, to be respectful, to provide, to protect, maybe to be confident. But no one showed you the invisible mechanisms that make a woman feel attraction, respect, trust, and desire for a man. Most men are operating blind. They repeat phrases they've heard. They copy behaviors they see in others. They try to guess what she wants in each moment. And then they wonder why their relationships are filled with mixed signals, drama, rejection, and confusion. What you are going to hear now is not about tricks or manipulation. It is about understanding how women are wired emotionally and psychologically so that you can stop fighting reality and start working with it. The first psychological fact about women that almost no man truly understands is this. For a woman, how she feels around you is far more important than what you say to her. Most men try to seduce with logic. They want to impress her by listing achievements, giving explanations, justifying themselves, defending their point, convincing her that they are a good choice. They throw information at her and hope she will logically conclude that she should be attracted or stay. Female attraction does not work like that. A woman's emotional system is constantly asking one question underneath every interaction. How do I feel with this man right now? Safe or uneasy? Bored or alive? Seen or ignored? Relaxed or tense? The answer to that internal question is what guides her reactions much more than the content of your words. That means when you approach a woman anxious, restless, desperate to get a positive response, she feels your tension even if your words are perfectly chosen. Your voice, your breathing, your posture, your eye contact, the speed of your speech, all of that speaks louder than your sentences. If your inner state is needy, your body will betray you. If your inner state is calm, grounded, and self-respecting, your presence will transmit that. You can say something simple and still generate attraction, simply because you are not looking for validation. You are there by choice, not by hunger. This is where the stoic part of you must wake up. You have to train yourself to regulate your emotions, to be comfortable with uncertainty, to enter an interaction without clinging to the outcome. When you become the kind of man who can stand in front of a woman without begging for a specific reaction, she feels something extremely rare. She feels free to respond how she truly feels. That freedom, paradoxically, makes her much more likely to want to move toward you. The second psychological fact is that women read subcommunication much more than men do. In simple terms, they listen less to your words and more to the world behind your words. While you are choosing what to say, her nervous system is scanning how you say it. She is unconsciously reading your facial micro-expressions, your micro-pauses, your tone changes, your small gestures, the way your eyes move when you are unsure, the way you shift your weight when you feel intimidated. Many men get frustrated because they feel exposed. Why does she sense that I am insecure when I'm trying so hard to hide it? The answer is that female psychology evolved to be extremely sensitive to these micro-signals. It helps her detect danger, insincerity, instability, and weakness long before they become obvious. You can try to fake confidence, but if it is only a mask, it will not hold under tension. The moment something triggers you, your real state leaks out. That is why the most powerful thing you can do is not to perfect your lines, but to build inner congruence. Congruence means what you think, what you feel, what you say, and what you do are aligned. When you respect yourself, your body language naturally becomes more solid. You stand straighter. You hold eye contact without forcing it. You do not fidget as much. You speak clearly, not to impress, but to express. You do not overshare to fill silence. You are not constantly trying to read her reaction to adjust your identity. You already know who you are. When a woman meets a man whose inner world and outer behavior are coherent, she feels an unusual sense of trust. Even if she does not fully like you yet, she feels that what she sees is real. That authenticity is extremely attractive compared to the average man who performs a role, changes his personality depending on the woman he is talking to, and constantly seeks approval. The third psychological fact is one that most men misinterpret completely. Women test men not to be cruel, but to feel safe. Many men talk about tests, as if women were villains in a game, trying to make men fail. They take every challenging comment, every sudden change of mood, every small provocation as an attack on their ego. In reality, a woman's psychological system uses small tensions to verify something very specific. Is this man's strength real or is it fragile? She does not have access to your thoughts. She cannot read your history on a screen. The only information she has about your character is how you respond to stress, resistance, and discomfort. So she creates small moments of stress, resistance, and discomfort, sometimes consciously, many times unconsciously. These tests can appear as a slightly disrespectful joke, a delayed reply, a cold reaction after a warm moment, a challenging question, a contradiction, a subtle withdrawal of attention, a disagreement on something unimportant. The content is not the point. The reaction is the point. If you react with anger, if you lose control over a minor challenge, if you complain, if you collapse into a victim, if you beg, if you become overly apologetic, if you give up your boundaries instantly just to maintain harmony, you show her that your emotional structure is weak. Her deeper mind concludes, if this man loses his center over something small, how will he behave when life brings real pressure? On the other hand, if you remain calm, if you hold your boundaries without aggression, if you can respond with relaxed confidence instead of intensity, she feels something very different. This man does not break under tension. I can trust his presence. This is where stoic discipline becomes a secret weapon in seduction. A stoic man does not deny his emotions. He observes them, accepts them, and chooses his response instead of being dragged by the impulse of the moment. When a woman pushes a little, he does not feel the need to prove himself or fight. He does not collapse. He simply stays. He might smile. He might tease back. He might calmly explain what he accepts and what he does not. He is not cold, but he is not chaotic either. Through his reaction, he sends a signal that female psychology finds deeply reassuring. I am stable. Your emotions will not control me. I see you, but I am not lost in you. The fourth psychological fact is that women are far more attracted to a man's direction than to his current position. Men obsess over status symbols, money, clothes, cars, followers, external validation. They imagine that if they achieve a certain visible level, women will automatically appear. Some women do respond to those signals, but the deeper pattern in female psychology is slightly different. A woman's long-term attraction is strongly influenced by whether she feels that a man has a clear path, a sense of mission, and a commitment to growth. In other words, she is not just asking, what does he have now? She is asking, where is he going? And how does he handle the journey? A man who has fewer resources but strong direction, discipline, and integrity can be much more attractive than a man who looks successful on the surface but has no backbone, no purpose, and no control over himself. Direction means you have chosen what you are building in your life and you are actually doing the work. It does not mean you have every detail figured out. It means you are not drifting. It means you are willing to delay gratification, to make sacrifices, to say no to distractions. That attitude creates a powerful psychological effect. It shows that you can lead, not from domination but from clarity. Female psychology is extremely sensitive to leadership, not in the sense of controlling her, but in the sense of having your own stable axis. When you live without direction, when you allow life to push you randomly, when you never commit to anything, it creates a subtle sense of insecurity around you. You may be fun, you may be charming, but you feel unreliable at a deeper level. A woman senses that if she invests emotionally in you, she might end up carrying both of you. She might have to be the emotional and practical leader, and that dynamic slowly kills attraction. When you start living with direction, something shifts in your energy. The way you walk, the way you talk, the way you arrange your time, all of it communicates, I know what I am doing with my life. You do not need to recite your goals. Your habits show them. That kind of man creates polarity. His grounded direction allows her to relax and flow more into her emotional side without fear that everything will fall apart. The fifth psychological fact is that women feel more attracted to men who are clearly in abundance, not scarcity, when it comes to options and self-respect. Many men think that being always available, always agreeable, and always ready to drop everything for a woman will make her feel special and loved. In reality, it often produces the opposite effect. Human psychology, especially female psychology in the romantic field, associates high value with scarcity. Something that everyone can have without effort is rarely perceived as precious. A man who is emotionally and physically available to any woman at any time, without standards, without boundaries, unconsciously communicates that his presence is not particularly valuable. Abundance does not mean lying about having many partners or trying to appear as a playboy. It means your life is already full. Your time is invested in your body, your mind, your projects, your purpose, your friendships, your passions. You are not waiting for a woman to give meaning to your existence. You already have meaning. When a woman meets a man like that, she feels that he is choosing her from a place of fullness, not from desperation. That, in itself, is attractive. There is a subtle but powerful difference between "I need you because I am empty without you" and "I want you because you resonate with the life I am already building." The second energy is the one that draws women in. Scarcity mentality shows up when you chase excessively, when you ignore your own values just to keep a woman, when you tolerate disrespect because you are terrified of losing her, when you cancel everything in your life repeatedly just to be available. Female psychology reads that as low value. She may enjoy the attention for a while, but her deeper attraction decreases. Abundance mentality shows up when you can walk away from situations that do not honor you, not as a threat, not as a drama, but as a quiet decision. When you know you are capable of connecting with other people, when you are not emotionally dependent on a single person to feel worthy, your energy relaxes. That relaxation, again, makes you more magnetic. Women feel pulled toward men who can be alone without being lonely, who can enjoy their own company, and who are not terrified by the possibility of loss. The sixth psychological fact is that for many women, feeling emotionally understood can be more arousing than a purely physical compliment. Men are often more directly stimulated by visual and physical cues. They see a body they like. They feel desire. They hear a compliment about their success. They feel proud. Women also appreciate physical attraction, but their emotional system connects desire strongly with feeling seen, heard, and understood on a deeper level. When a woman speaks and a man actually listens, not just to the literal content, but to the emotions behind her words, something rare happens. She feels that her inner world matters. Most men listen with an agenda. They listen impatiently, waiting for their turn to speak, trying to fix the problem quickly, or trying to steer the conversation toward their interests. They interrupt, they minimize, they trivialize, they intellectualize. They give advice when it was never asked for. The result is a woman who slowly shuts down. She stops sharing her inner experiences because she feels unseen. On the other hand, a man who can stay present, who can summarize what he hears, who can say, "I get that this made you feel frustrated," or "It makes sense you felt hurt in that situation," without immediately jumping into a lecture, creates emotional intimacy. That intimacy is one of the strongest aphrodisiacs in female psychology. This does not mean you become a therapist or that you have to analyze every emotion in detail. It means you allow space. You do not mock her for feeling deeply. You do not fear her emotions. You watch them like waves that rise and fall. You do not drown in them, but you do not refuse to get your feet wet. At the same time, you hold your own center. You are not there to lose yourself in her moods. You are there as a witness, as a grounded presence. This blend of empathy and steadiness is extremely attractive. It shows her that she can open up without being judged and without having to lead you emotionally. It is rare. That is why it is so powerful. The seventh psychological fact is that women are constantly measuring your pattern over time, not just your isolated grand gestures. Many men believe they can compensate for inconsistency, disrespect, or emotional absence with occasional big shows of affection, a dramatic message, a big gift, an intense night, a sudden promise. Those things may create short-term emotion, but female psychology is designed to look for consistency. Her deeper mind is not asking, "What did he do once?" It is asking, "What does he usually do? How does he behave when no one is watching? What is his default pattern under stress, under boredom, under routine?" If you show respect one day and then carelessness the next, if you are attentive when you want something and distant when you feel safe, if you are calm at the beginning and explosive after some time, if you are disciplined for a few weeks and then fall into chaos, she will unconsciously register your real pattern. When your words and your pattern do not match, trust erodes. And when trust erodes, attraction slowly decays. On the other hand, if your pattern is strong, you do not need huge grand gestures to impress. Your everyday behavior is the gesture. You say what you mean and you follow through. You do not promise what you cannot deliver. You do not use affection as a tool to control her. You do not disappear without explanation. You do not become a different man under alcohol, stress, or jealousy. You stay recognizable. This does not mean perfection. It means reliability. When a woman recognizes that your pattern is honest, that your flaws are owned, that your efforts are consistent, she can relax. That relaxation allows desire to grow in a different way. It is not the nervous tension of the unknown. It is the warm, deep attraction of feeling safe with a strong man who does not betray himself. That kind of attraction often lasts longer and feels much more satisfying than the unstable highs and lows that many people confuse with passion. Now that you have heard these 7 psychological facts, take a moment and look at your own life through this lens. How many times in your past did you focus on convincing with words instead of creating a feeling through your presence? How many times did you obsess over what to say without realizing that your anxious energy was shouting louder than your mouth? How many times did you interpret a woman's test as an attack, reacting with anger or neediness instead of recognizing it as a chance to demonstrate your emotional strength? How many times did you chase a woman from scarcity, abandoning your own life, letting your goals, your body, and your mind deteriorate just to keep her attention? How many times did you talk about being a certain kind of man while your daily pattern showed something else? The point of seeing these mistakes is not to blame yourself. It is to wake up. A man who refuses to understand female psychology is a man condemned to repeat the same painful patterns with different faces. He will think that all women are the same. He will build resentment. He will either become bitter, trying to dominate, or become spineless, trying blindly to please. Neither extreme creates the respect and attraction he really wants. When you accept how women are wired, you regain power over your own behavior. You stop taking everything personally and start responding strategically. From now on, each interaction can become training. Before you speak, ask yourself, what emotion am I radiating right now? Calm power or nervous hunger? When you notice yourself trying to impress with words, slow down, breathe, let your body relax, let silence exist. Speak less, but with more weight. When you notice subcommunication, pay attention to your posture and your eyes. Adjust them from the inside out. Do not act. Embody. When a woman tests you, remember, this is not a punishment. This is information. It is an opportunity to show her and yourself that you can maintain your frame without aggression and without collapsing. Respond with humor, with clarity, with boundaries. Do not beg. Do not attack. Stand. Keep building your direction. Every hour you invest in your mission, every habit you strengthen, every distraction you cut makes you more attractive without saying a word. When you are tempted to drop everything for a woman, ask yourself, am I acting from abundance or from scarcity? If it is scarcity, pause, realign, recommit to your life. When she speaks, actually listen. Reflect her emotions. Do not rush to fix what does not need fixing. When you make a promise, keep it. When you cannot, say so clearly. Let your pattern become your silent demonstration of value. If you integrate these 7 psychological facts, something powerful begins to happen. Women start reacting differently to you. They open up more. They test you less intensely because they feel your solidity. They respect your time because they can feel that you respect it. They become more affectionate because they feel seen, not just admired for their looks. Many of the games and dramas that used to drain you simply stop appearing because the type of woman who loves chaos no longer feels attracted to your new, stable energy. You are not chasing them. You are filtering them without even trying. And there is an even deeper effect. Your relationship with yourself transforms. You are no longer begging for someone to choose you. You are choosing yourself first, every day, through your habits, your decisions, your standards. From that place, you can look at a woman in the eyes and say, without words, I do not need you to fill a void. I invite you to share a life that already has meaning. Female psychology recognizes that message instantly, even if she cannot describe it. It feels different. It feels rare. It feels like strength. So the next time you find yourself confused by a woman's behavior, remember this: she is not a random mystery. She is responding to the signals you send, most of which you were not conscious of until now. You can choose to stay ignorant, to complain, to say that women are impossible, or you can use these 7 psychological facts as a map to become more grounded, more aware, more disciplined, more selective, more emotionally intelligent, and more consistent. When you do that, you are not just learning how to attract women, you are becoming the kind of man a high-quality woman naturally wants to be around. You do not have to announce this transformation. You do not have to convince anyone. Just start living it. The world of women will respond.